Okay, so my newsworthy article is about the one and done of Kawhi Leonard. So to start, I'll just give you guys a whole background information. So in 2019, Kawhi Leonard gets traded to the Toronto Raptors for this guy named DeMar DeRozan, who wasn't as good. And he goes to their team and eventually leads their team to a championship that year, right? You know, no big deal. It's kind of cool because it was his first year there. But then the big thing was after the season, he leaves Toronto and goes to Los Angeles, which has a better team, but, you know, more skilled players. So obviously, why wouldn't he go there? But so that in itself is already a big deal because he was there for not even an entire year, wins a championship, and then leaves. So, I mean, that was pretty cool, but that's also never been done before, so that was pretty cool. So, he moves to this new team, and at the beginning of the next season, not everything goes as planned. He moved there for the more skilled players like Paul George, Patrick Beverly. You know, you guys don't know these people, but moved there for these people because they're better basketball players. But they really couldn't piece it together. You know, like they were playing. I mean, they were playing all right, but like not living up to the expectations because they had really good players, but they weren't playing really good basketball. You know, and they still did all right. You know, they made the playoffs and all that. But once the playoffs rolled around, they really just couldn't find it. They blew a 3-1 lead in a 7-game series where you only have to win 4 games. They blew a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets, who were not good at all. And the Raptors would have been highly favored in that, you know, series because they just played good basketball, and these Clippers did not, which is the team that he's now on. Why did this happen? Paul George, his Kawhi's number 2, really sucked. He didn't show up to some games just because he didn't want to. In other games when he showed up, you really couldn't tell that he was there because he just did not play that good. Kawhi just didn't adjust to his new team. He kind of just wasn't playing like himself. And I like to think has a little bit of karma, and the article thinks so too, because he left after 1 year. He kind of left them out to dry. So, so in conclusion, the article basically says that if Kawhi would have stayed, he probably would have went back-to-back championships because there was no very good teams back then. A lot of people were injured, and the Raptors, they were playing really good basketball, and they literally just added on to their team and made their team better besides losing Kawhi Leonard. Originally, everyone thought that he was making a good decision. I mean, he was kind of being the bad guy by leaving, but you know, he was going for better players, so kind of a rational decision, but in the end, it was kind of an irrational decision because they didn't do better. They didn't win a championship. They didn't even make it to the finals. So yeah. And lastly, it just says he kind of ruined what could have been and has everyone wondering what could have been. So why is this so important? First thing, that one and done has never been done before. That man showed up to a city, won them a championship, and then left that next year. Wasn't even there for an entire full year. He was there for 1 season, and that was it. So that's a big deal. And really, no one expected that out of him because he's really a quiet guy. If you he's kind of funny because he just doesn't talk. And also, no one he wasn't that he didn't play that good until he showed up there, which is just crazy to everyone. Also, no one thought he'd leave Toronto. You know, as I said, he's like a really kind of a shy person. He never said that he was leaving. He never gave them hints that he was leaving, but he wanted out, I guess, so he left. Also, everyone thought that this LA team would be so good because they had 2 really good players that could play offense and defense. So everyone thought, that was foolproof, but apparently it was not. They're kind of the laughing stock of the NBA for a little bit because they just could not piece it together. And lastly, as we can all learn, good team basketball or good team players, in any sport, will outplay good skilled players. So that's what we learned, and that's why this article is newsworthy. Thank you.